Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. How are you guys doing? I know it's been a little while. Sayla here has been growing so much in the last 6 weeks now, right, babe?
6 weeks tomorrow. Yeah, it's
My
crazy to think.
goodness. Yeah, so
Or okay, 6 weeks Thursday.
we've just been so busy like living life and raising her now that I'll be honest, I haven't posted much to YouTube. A lot of our focus has been on TikTok lately. We've just been seeing crazy growth on there. It's just ridiculous. We're at 40,000 followers in like a month, whereas it took me 10 years on YouTube to get 6,000 followers. So
Crazy.
that's kind of been where I've been putting some of my attention. But we wanted to update you all on our
Can I
baby journey.
say something really
Yes,
quick?
go
I'm
ahead.
noticing. So he told me to look over here at the camera, but he's looking straight on. So where should I
The
look?
camera, I look at this one right here.
Okay, because it looks like you're looking straight on.
Oh, I'm just checking myself out. Make sure I
Okay, the
look
whole
okay.
time though you're
I
looking
don't
that
look
way.
that
So
good today.
is that a problem?
By the way, this is my quarantine beard. We've been in quarantine, and I've been growing it since day one. So this is how long quarantine has been
Oh
happening.
my word. Yeah, I have no makeup, new mom look. So pardon that.
You look good, babe.
Thanks. But yeah, just like Philip said, we're just like adjusting to life with a newborn, and it is no joke. It's wonderful, but it is hard too. Like we got out today for the first time. We went just to the drive-through, got a little food, and took it to like a park that there's nobody there, and it was like open in one area. So we did that, but Sayla was like screaming in the car the whole time. Like she's a really good baby. Like this is usually her, but for some reason you get her in the car and she's like screaming.
Yeah.
But we can't complain because she's a great baby and we're having fun. It's just, yeah, the whole transition, but it gets better. It's going to get better.
So,
Easier.
babe,
Yeah.
day one,
Back to why we did this video.
we went to bed,
This-
and
Can I say what day it was really quick?
yes,
So it was March 19th.
and you woke me up. Tell me about that.
So let's see. I just like read my whole I wrote it all out. My mom's like, write all the details so you don't forget. So I'm trying to remember that. So it was, yeah, I guess it was like 11 o'clock at night. And Philip and I were getting to bed kind of late that evening. And I remember Teddy was like on the computer, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
making
was,
noise.
Yeah, he was making noise. And Philip was kind of like irritated, like, oh, when's he going to go to bed? Like, kind of like, Teddy, can you quiet down? And then so Philip was kind of nodding off. And finally, it was probably midnight, and I started to feel some cramps. And I was like, okay, like it feels like Braxton Hicks cramps, like, not the real thing. It's certainly not like as intense as I would expect labor cramps to be. So it's like, it's fine. But then, I started timing them because they were kind of coming more often than I had, because I'd been having Braxton Hicks cramps, but they were started coming more than I anticipated, or like more than I had in the past. And they kind of were increasing in intensity. So I was like, this is kind of strange, but still like nothing that I would have been like, I'm in labor. So I have this little app on my phone that was like contraction timer. So I put that on, Philip's sleeping. And so I could see, like, it looked like my contractions were coming like every, so often. So I was like, okay, But then I was like, it's fine. So I tried to go to bed, but then I went over to the couch and I was kind of like in a little bit of pain, like discomfort, kind of like if I were to be on my period or something. But I was, whatever, it's fine. And then finally, like my water, it started to trickle out. And then I was like, okay, like, And then at one point I was realizing, okay, I think I might be in labor. So I kind of went over to Philip and I just ever so gently like touched him like this. Cause if it was not the real deal, I didn't want to like wake him up.
I'd just fallen asleep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, he was kind of like, what? And I was like, I think I'm in labor. And he's like, what? What do you think when I said that?
I was like, no.
I was
It's
37 weeks, so I still had like 3 more weeks to go. Yeah.
I was like,
I'm not
I
expecting
had
it.
not even considered that was a possibility of happening.
Mm-hmm.
So like in my mind, I wasn't ready for it. So I was like, there's
Me
no
neither.
way.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said that your water was coming out,
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this could be happening today.
Yeah, I feel like he was more like, this is happening, like, as the time went on. Like, I was, like, in denial. I'm like, no, there's no way. Like, 37
Right.
weeks. I just turned 37 weeks, like, that day. The cramps aren't that bad. All these things where I'm like, no. But he was like, no, I think, you were kind of like, I think this is real. Oh, bless you.
Oops, I didn't cover my mouth like I should have.
Seriously.
People are going to get infected. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. So anyways, let's see what happened at that point. It's like all a blur because it was so late. So I was like, okay, let's call the hospital. So I called them and I kind of explained the situation. Wait, I think before that though, I
Didn't you
went
call
into
a nurse or?
Yeah, I
No,
did.
you called the hospital.
Yeah, but I think before that I went into the bathroom. That's right. I went into the bathroom and I like TMI, but I wiped some blood and then I threw up. So I was like, well, that's kind of strange, you know, and
Right.
those are kind of signs of labor. So I called the nurse at the hospital and they, you know, explained like, I think my water's breaking, this and that. So they explained, just come on in. Like, even if it's, you know, false, whatever, just come on in. So I was like, okay. And so I said, Philip, you know, we're probably going to get sent home. I know we're going to get sent home, but let's pack the bags just to be, you know, safe, right?
And it was cool because we had a scare like a week before that.
A couple days, like 4 days
Yeah, like
maybe.
a few days. And
Yeah.
like where Molly was undoing her umbrella and it popped out and hit her belly.
'Cause it was
Made like a little
raining.
red mark on her belly. So she was real concerned that she'd hurt the baby.
Yeah.
So we went over to the hospital and it was cool because like that way we knew like where to go, like what entranceway.
Because
Like,
we did the same thing. Like, that was like, felt like an emergency. And so we're like, okay, we have to like park in the, what do we do?
yeah, the parking structure. So like
Yeah.
we knew everything to do. So it
Yeah.
just was like, all right, we've done this
Same
before.
place.
Let's go back.
Yeah, literally like 3 days before. Which now that my mom always says, do you think that might have jump started the labor? Like, I don't know. Could have. That would have been weird. I
Maybe.
doubt it, but maybe.
we did a we
were
did a
active.
dance. Like we were very active. Didn't we go on a walk?
We went on 2 walks that day.
We were doing like some TikTok dancing.
Yeah.
Very active day.
Yeah. So that's why we're like, well, maybe. So anyways, we call the nurse. We're stuffing our bags. Like, I just start throwing everything in. Like, of course, like I hadn't washed the baby stuff. We didn't have the car seat in the car. Like, I had worked that day. I was still working the rest of that week, and I was expecting like to have the next 3 weeks to kind of get ready and to just get ready for the baby. Yeah.
That was like your last day, wasn't it?
I still had 2 more days
2 more
after
days,
that.
and then you're going to be off work.
Yeah.
You
But
worked right up.
I
to
literally
the day.
worked up until I gave birth. So yeah, it was just like so surreal. So we finally got in the car, you know, and I still wasn't like in a lot of pain. I don't really remember that car ride. It was late and I was in labor, but we parked and, you know, I'm like waddling up. And if you guys seen the video, we have like another video, you should link it, of the actual birth. Like, you know, I'm kind of like, oh no, my water's gushing out and, you know, freaking out a little bit. But Philip's like, okay, like you're going to have this baby today. And I'm like, no, not today. Like, I'm not going to have this baby today. There's no way. Not knowing that, yes, I would have the baby that day. Yeah. So what happened then? Oh, it was closed, right?
Yes, we get there. We have to call like a security guard to come open the door.
And I'm like walking there, like no big deal.
Right. We get inside and they check Molly out and the nurse is like, yeah, you're 4 centimeters dilated
And
your
water.
water's been broke or ruptured. Ruptured maybe they used. I don't remember the terms.
Yeah.
But I was like, and then Molly, you said something. She's like, no, you're having the baby.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, you are. Like, you're having
And
this
then
baby.
all of Molly's denial like went away. Like I knew.
Yeah.
And Molly was like, now she realizes, okay, this is happening.
So I was just kind of like freaking out there. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. Like, I can't do this. And, you know, Philip and the nurses were encouraging. And yeah, so I was like, I'm at 4 centimeters. Like, what the heck? And then, so at that point, like it had been, you know, I was in this observation room, I guess, before I was going into labor and delivery. And I was in there for a while, it seemed, right? I think a couple hours. And then my contractions started to pick up. And they weren't fun, but they, again, weren't like as bad as they anticipated. So that was good. But yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay, get me out of here. Like, all right. So then they transferred me into labor and delivery. And what happened then?
And so Molly was good up until 7 centimeters, but
Yeah.
I mean, she was in pain, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like out of this world pain.
Yeah, they kept asking me, do you want the epidural? And I was like, no, not yet, not yet. And they were like, well, we think you should get it soon. Like, there's no reason to be in pain. And
Right.
like, you know, you might not be able to get it if you don't. And so I'm like, I could have gone longer, but the pain did definitely start to like get more and more and more so. Like, I was like, I don't know how much longer. Like, I wanted the epidural. Like, I was like, okay, I want it, but I don't know. Like, it still wasn't as bad as I thought. But I was like on the birth ball and just like trying to breathe and like, you know, I was kind of, I did throw up quite a bit, which was gross, but that's just one of the side effects of labor. And then like I was shaking and stuff. So I guess like it probably looked pretty bad, right? I mean, it was bad. It wasn't fun.
Yeah. Not not what I imagined. I imagined like you
I wasn't,
screaming and
yeah, I
stuff.
wasn't
But
screaming.
so then
I was
they
breathing good.
asked me to leave the room. They gave Molly the epidural, which they said it was a little challenge. He went in a couple times, right?
3 times.
He was like, because your spine is kind of compact or something.
And I was
like that.
skinny and like, yeah, he thought maybe I had a little curvature, but it was just like, ugh, it was gross. Like, but the lady, she was trying to, the nurses were like amazing at the Huntington Hospital. And, you know, the contractions were like pretty intense at that point, and she's just like holding me still. And it's hard to stay still at that point. And then, you know, as this needle's going in, but I was able to do it. And it was just weird not having Philip there, you know, but the nurse did a good job of comforting me and helping me breathe.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, we went to the Huntington Hospital in Pasadena. That's where we live, and we really liked it. It was a great hospital.
Top rated, amazing, so good. Yeah, we loved
it. The food
it.
sucked, but I feel like that's every hospital. The food sucks.
It's like that in airplanes.
Yeah. But I digress. Back to this story here. We're building up now.
Yeah.
So then Molly's like, "Oh, I feel wonderful." Like after the epidural.
Oh yeah, it took like less than 20 minutes. They said it would take 20 minutes to all, you know, like come in. I was like, I can't wait 20 minutes, you know. But it was like instant for me. Like I felt it, and I was like, I feel like $1,000,000.
She's like a different person.
Yeah, and then Philip, like they didn't call you in for.
They left me in the waiting room.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's my husband?" I was like, "He's been gone a while."
20 minutes. Maybe
Yeah, more than that. Yeah, the epidural didn't take that long. I was waiting for him for like 20 minutes, just like, bop, bop, bop.
And babe, you were just like, boom, 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 like dilation, dilation, dilation. Before I knew it, and correct me if I'm missing something, but like you were at like 9 centimeters before long at all. I mean, this is going through the night now. We're getting into the morning.
Yeah, it was a while, but like it was really, I mean, to be honest, it was quick in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised every time. Like they didn't check me that often because I guess if you get your water broken, like they don't want to prod too much for risk of infection.
Yeah.
But every time they did check me, I was like significantly like dilated. So like they checked me at 4, then 7, then 9, and then 10.
And it seemed like they're taking a while.
It did,
like I felt like you had hit 10 and they still hadn't checked you.
Yeah.
And the doctor
like
wasn't
forever.
there.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were just like, we don't want to wake the doctor, but
They did say that. And it wasn't even that early. That was the thing.
yeah. I feel like Molly probably could have been pushing sooner than that.
Oh, yeah.
But I just feel like timing wise, like, I mean, they probably get so many women coming through there, like they know they can like delay it and, you know.
Well, yeah. And with the epidural, like you don't have the urge to push. I was kind of bummed because I asked them to turn it down or like turn it back so that I could feel the urge to push. But I didn't have any sensation, which was a bummer. And I think that's why I was able to wait for the doctor. But a lot of women, like when they don't have, or when they have the urge to push, like they're not going to wait for the doctor. They're just going to push. But they knew with me, like, oh, she can wait.
And the doctor really didn't do much at all. I mean, the nurse was really the one that was like Molly like from side to side because the baby wasn't, at the end, the baby wasn't like coming out as quickly as I thought.
It took a long time. 2.5 hours of pushing.
Yeah, and like she kept having Molly like go from side to side, help like rotate the Selah, because I guess Selah just wasn't getting under
The pelvic bone.
Yeah, and I was praying. I was like, you know.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, that was the hardest part probably.
Yeah, and they kept like turning. And Philip, it was like a good workout. The nurse had one leg, Philip the other, and they were literally like turning me every which direction.
I was counting. I was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi for every push, like up to 10, you know.
You didn't say Mrs. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so they would kind of no. You just have 1, 2, 3, and I had oxygen because the baby, her I guess heart rate started to go down, which was scary. But they were like, yeah, you know, you need to have your oxygen in between pushes, and then they kind of delayed the pushes, and my contractions were like taking longer than they should have at some point. So it was just like it took a long time, and it was a little bit discouraging. But we got there.
But the doctor had finally showed up like in the morning, and then that's when Molly like really began the pushing, and then
that's right.
And then let me think about this. I knew the baby was about to come because like the doctor would come in and go out, but then finally the doctor like came in and started like suiting up, and all these other nurses came in. I was like, oh, this is it. And every push before that I kept seeing the head.
Yeah.
Like we saw hair. I was like so excited.
We could see the hair.
And it felt like every push it like the opening started getting bigger, and I started to see more and more head. It was awesome. And it was like really big by then. I saw a big part of the
Oh
head.
my gosh.
And that's when they all came in and seated up. And I was like, this baby's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, but they said, we can see the hair. And I was like, what color is it? Is it brown? And they're like, oh, yes. Not knowing she had this much hair.
She's a hairy baby.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then finally Molly's pushing. And Molly, you tore.
Wait. Not yet.
Oh, I'm skipping ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I guess that's next. Yeah, I didn't know that I tore, but yes, I tore it. And they had told me, though, like, if you didn't have the epidural, this is when you would feel like the ring of fire. They're like, this would be really painful. So I'm very glad that I had the epidural.
When Sayla's
Especially
head...
when it took that long.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
When Sayla's head first came through, she had the umbilical cord around her neck. So they cut that. And then Molly kept pushing, and boom, Sayla was out.
Yeah.
You tore. I felt bad. So
Yeah.
there's like tons of blood after that. Right away, the doctor started sewing you up.
Okay, don't go to the hemorrhaging part yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll let you say
Don't want
that.
it to go too far ahead.
And so then Molly had that golden hour where the baby was just skin to skin on your chest. How'd that feel?
It was great. It was an amazing experience when they just like, you're pushing, and it was like so discouraging because it was like, this is taking forever. And my big thing was like, I do not want a C-section. So I was like, I don't not. And like this doctor had said before, like, oh, one of my patients, when I was getting checked out before, she said, oh, my patient she has to have an emergency C-section because she's been pushing for 3 hours. And like here I was pushing 2.5 hours. So I was like, I do not want to get to that point where they said I need a C-section. But thankfully that wasn't the case. But yeah, so they, she came out and it was 10:48 in the morning and she was 7 pounds, 20.5 inches long. She's beautiful, little cone head. And they stuck her on me. And it was just like an amazing, incredible experience. And just like, how the heck did this baby fit in there? And just like all this, she has all this hair. And it was just like.
She was big, like bigger than I thought she'd be. Even at 7 pounds, she was big.
Right? Considering she was 3 weeks early, she was a good sized baby. But
yeah.
she was covered in, why am I forgetting the.
Oh
my gosh. I know, I read all the baby books. I know all the stuff. But whatever. The doctor said lanolin, that's why that's coming to my head, but I was like, it's not called lanolin. Anyway, she was covered in the stuff that newborns are in, but since she was Vernex, since she was early, she had more of that, but she was beautiful and it was just like so neat. But yeah, not long after that is when I started hemorrhaging. And all of a sudden just like all this blood started coming out and then,
Can I say how they discovered it?
Yeah.
So the nurse goes to check on Molly and like, I think she pushed on your stomach or something. And like literally like chunks of blood came out of Molly, like filled her 2 hands up. She's like, oh
so
goodness.
disgusting.
And she runs it off, like throws
Clots,
it in the trash.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like clots. So she
Big.
gets out, like more nurses start coming in and start working on Molly to get this blood stop. But it was like a lot of blood.
Yeah,
like I've never seen so much blood.
It was nasty because they were like pushing my stomach so hard. And I was like, the pushing on my stomach felt worse than the contractions. Like they're like pushing all their might, I felt like. And I hurt so bad. And I was, kind of screaming. And then, yeah, just like gushes and gushes of blood. And like, it was TMI, but like I saw like the rags of blood and it was just like nasty and like big clots coming out. And they couldn't get it to stop. And they kept saying, we don't know where the bleeding's coming
She
from.
got
It's
so
not
frustrated.
stopping.
She's like in there sewing up. Another doctor came in. She's like, I don't know like how to get this thing to stop.
Yeah. Wait, you rushed ahead.
Oh, sorry.
He's rushing ahead.
Sorry.
So like the nurses couldn't figure it out. So they had to call another doctor and they finally got a hold of an ER doctor. So an ER doctor had to come and then she's checking me out.
That's the doctor I was talking
Yeah.
about.
And she's trying to figure out where the bleeding's coming from. They couldn't figure it out. Yeah, you can.
They were going to stuff Molly, pack it, but they finally got it to stop enough where they were satisfied. And they were giving her like anti-bleeding drugs.
Yeah, all the stuff.
Like to help stop the bleeding. Nothing was working.
Well, they didn't want to pack me. They wanted to use something, but they didn't have it. I guess there was none in stock. So the lady couldn't do it. That's the thing. But yeah, they couldn't get it to stop. And then finally she figured out it was a tear in my uterine wall. So she stitched that up. It took her a long time, but she kept saying, your tissue's just paper thin. Every time I touch it, it just keeps bleeding. So like, okay, I don't really want to hear that.
Right.
But yeah, it was just scary. It was a lot of blood. And like, I didn't have the baby at that point. Philip had to take the baby. And I mean, it was probably several hours and like the baby hadn't eaten. Like it was just like really scary and sad. And Philip's on the phone with my mom telling her all this, and my mom's pacing the house praying, and just like everyone's kind of nervous.
I was giving
like,
updates to my mom and your mom, being like, pray for this, pray for that. Now Molly's bleeding. Oh, I should have pulled them up.
Yeah.
And they were like praying.
Yeah, but thankfully, like, I was pretty at peace, even though it was like scary, very scary.
Yeah,
But it
you
was
did
okay.
great, babe.
Yeah, I just like held myself. Yeah.
So I think we're good. And then I think that was when we, transitioned over to the
Maternal ward
maternal ward. Yeah.
yeah, like recovery unit. And I was fine, like feeling good, all that.
Oh yeah, this is scary what happened.
Yeah. And then at one point the nurse came in and she's like, okay, like you need to get up to use the restroom. Like it's time. And I was like, like I don't really want to. Like I didn't even have to go. Like mind you, I was so numb. Like everything was numb still. Like the numbing stuff lasted like all day, like all the way down to my toes. So I was like, I don't really want to get up. Like I'm numb and I can't feel anything. But she's like, no, you need to get up. So I like got up. And as I'm walking over to the bathroom, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna faint. And so I make it to the toilet, and then literally I fainted on the toilet. And so the nurse, of course, freaks out and she pulls like the emergency cord in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, there's like 6 people in the bathroom with me, and they're all freaking out. And
All these nurses started piling in.
yeah, and they're like, Molly, are you there? Are you there? And I woke up to them like, wake up, are you there? Talk to us, Molly.
They're giving you something to smell too. They're
Oh
like,
yeah. They were giving me stuff to smell. I
Yeah,
forgot
to
about
wake
that.
you up.
And I was like,
I
yeah,
felt so hopeless, or
Yeah.
helpless, I should say.
yeah.
My side of it is I just picked up Sayla, and this is like my first time holding her in the room, and like that happened, and the nurse is like, Molly,
Yeah.
and you weren't saying anything. I was like, oh no, I felt like I was gonna cry, and then like she pulled the cord, and I didn't do anything. I was just there with the baby. I was like, do I set her down? What do I do? I was like, this baby's so fragile. I don't even know how to set her down. Like I was scared to do even move the baby to go help you.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there with my shirt off because I was trying to do some skin to skin with the
That's
baby,
right.
and like all these nurses started piling in to help you. I felt like just so helpless, baby.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh.
And so then Philip's like, oh, we lost you there for a sec. It was scary, like, because I had lost all that blood and then I fainted. Yeah, so I was out for a few seconds. And so thankfully, like, I, was fine and I got back in the bed. And after that, though, I was like scarred. I'm like, I can't go pee. Like, I couldn't pee. Like, I literally was like, I can't pee. So, like, several hours later, they're like, you need to go try again. And I was like, I can't. Like, I'm not going to do that again. I can't stand up. Like, I'm so afraid of fainting, So then finally, I had the bright idea to put some towels down on the bed and to pee on the towels. And so I was able to do that, thankfully. And I was sitting upright. First, they tried to give me a bedpan, and I couldn't pee laying down. Sorry, this is like too much information. So I peed into the towels, and then like Philip's holding it like this, right, the towel, and then all of a sudden he just lets go, and all the pee just goes everywhere on the ground,
Spilling
like
onto the
a lot
floor.
of pee.
You got mad at me.
I was like,
You're kind of embarrassed.
"Stop."
Though.
Yeah, I was really embarrassed.
But they were cool. They came in, they just cleaned it right up, and like nothing happened.
Yeah, they were just like, it's fine, no worries, but quite the experience. So that's pretty much it.
And then we went
Yeah.
to sleep. At least we tried to sleep. So granted, we had been up all night, and then
All day.
And now it's the following night,
Yeah.
and I was so tired.
Yeah.
So we went to sleep, and granted, we're supposed to be feeding the baby every 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and also the nurses are like coming in constantly,
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like checking on us,
Yeah.
checking on Molly, and checking on the baby,
Yeah.
and like I was exhausted, so I was like out, and I felt so bad because Molly needed help at one point in the night.
Well, I was like in a lot of pain, and I couldn't even lay down flat. I had to have my bed. It was just like a lot of pain. So I couldn't get up to get the baby. So I'd always have to like wake up Philip, but he's like over there, and I even tried to throw something at him to wake him up.
And I wouldn't wake up one time, so she had to press the button.
Actually, it happened 2 or 3 times.
Oh, so you had to call the nurse in for help. I felt bad.
Yeah,
the
I'd be like,
next
"Can
day.
you bring the baby to me,
I'm sorry,
nurse?"
baby.
And, yeah, and he was like, I was like, Philip. He's like, I'll wake up, no problem. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting this man up, no way. So,
But after that, I was just doing better. I'd wake up with you
yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes
So we were in the hospital for 2 days after that.
2 nights, yeah.
And guys, guess how expensive it was each night? $4,000 a night.
Oh, yeah,
Molly,
where's
we just got the bill.
Where is the bill?
Um,
1 sec, guys. Oh dear, I think I feel bad. This might have to be another cut. Okay, we had to cut that there for a second, but we were back. So you said how much was the room? It was over $4,000 a night.
so we just got our bill. You guys, it's like so big.
Like it is this whole page, and then on the back of this page a little bit. But like all those charges.
But we only billed $2,000.
And $5. You guys, this is incredible because I was told that my insurance paid 80%, and that's like amazing. But
I feel like there's an error in this, like, or we're gonna get another bill or something.
no, I don't say that on the camera. We're supposed to be positive about
All
this.
right.
Cut that. No. Like honestly, everything is on here. This is incredible. So I was told like it was gonna be like the insurance pays 80% or whatever, and that it would be close to 25,000 the birth. And it says,
I hope you're right, babe.
no, I am. That literally says that the birth on here cost, it says $29,000. Look at this. $28,731 was my total. And it says payments and adjustments from the insurance, minus $26,725, which leaves me with a little over $2,000. That's crazy.
That's really good.
And like literally everything is on here. Like the rooms, like everything, even like the Advil they gave me, and like the epidural was $5,000. Like the delivery was $6,000. So like there's a lot on here.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened, considering they paid more than 80%. But it's just like such a miracle because I saved that too. So
Yeah, so that's really good.
that's awesome.
Something for me that I noticed was, I feel like leading up to the birth, like I would spend so much time with God, like crying out for the birth and like praying against like C-sections. And I just felt like it was easy for me to cry out to God, and my faith in God grew a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we've had Selah, it's kind of taken a step back. I'm not proud about that, just because like now I'm so wrapped up with Selah, and like sleeping is getting better for me, but just been busy like trying to catch up on sleep and stuff, so just kind of out of it. Plus the quarantine, can't go anywhere.
He's bitching about all this, and meanwhile I'm like, I hold her, I wake up in the night. Sorry.
You do a great job, babe.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. I'm just talking for myself.
I know.
So I've just found that like my spiritual life is kind of taken a step back from before, when it was easy for me to cry out to God, and now it's like, oh, we're past that, like we're good now, you know. But I am just so grateful to God that it just is like, I feel like God answered my prayers. I mean, obviously the tearing, I was praying against like any complications. So it's like, it wasn't a perfect birth by any means, but
Yeah.
just the fact that we didn't have to have a C-section, I'm just like, God, like you really came through. Like, thank you so much.
And I'm reminded of that girl that gave birth just a few days after me that was friends with Philip.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I look so big compared to you.
coworker with that I used to work with at Apple.
So
she
sad.
gave birth a week or so after me, and she passed away. She got an infection. I couldn't.
She was like
believe
around
it.
my age, looked healthy, all that. Really sweet girl. Yeah, and she passed away
I just couldn't
just a
believe
few
that.
days after she gave birth because she got an infection, which is horrible.
It's so horrible.
And so sad. But like, I mean, how does that even happen? Like, I'm glad I didn't hear that story before giving birth, because I would have been a lot more scared. And so I just feel horrible, because here is like her young husband has this baby daughter, and he's a widow now, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Like,
No, it's horrible.
but anyway,
Yeah.
God's been good. God has been very good to us. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's probably it. That's our birth story.
Is there
in a
anything else
nutshell.
that you can think of? I'm trying to think of any other like little details or anything else that I want to.
I
throw
mean,
in
there's
there.
so many. Yeah, I think for me, like the birth was honestly like not that bad. And pregnancy to me was like easy. Birth was like great, minus like it was hard with the bleeding. But I think postpartum, like the healing was like for sure harder to me than like the birth itself.
And the breastfeeding.
Yeah, breastfeeding has been like a challenge, but thankfully she's gotten better. It's just like, you know, how much is she getting? Like at first I wasn't supplying that much and all this, you know, just all those things. And like the adjustment, for me, it was like now even, you know, it's not even so much like the no sleep and the physical aspect of it, but it's like a lot of it is like emotional. So I can see where women can get like postpartum depression. Like thankfully I haven't had that. But I do like, you know, sometimes get like the baby blues and all this where I have to just kind of like snap back into reality. And like I love her so much and I wouldn't change a thing. And like I'm so happy to have her. But it is like a whole transition and a, you know, just a new way of life. So
Yeah. And my challenge postpartum is like not having as much attention from Molly, and now Molly's focus is the baby.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, oh, this is great because Molly's
Yeah.
can kind of be clingy sometimes, and like
He's all excited, like, good, I'm not gonna have all the attention on me.
Molly loves to like always be together and like
love quality time.
joined at the hip. That's her love language, quality time. I was like, great, I'll get my alone time. I'll be by myself more. And although, yeah, I get that, I do like some of it, but it's just overall, it's like challenging because I didn't realize how much I enjoyed Molly's presence and her attention. And
But
it's
you're like upstairs and I'm downstairs. We don't even like hang out in the same room half the time. 75% of the time.
So it's definitely an adjustment for me. But
It's been hard.
overall, I am so happy. And, you know, there's always like, people always complain about having kids, but like, honestly, it's the benefits far out exceed
Outweigh.
the negatives.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade Selah for anything.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy we did it, and I want to do it again.
Yeah. We're not gonna sugarcoat
I
it.
love
It's hard.
kids. I
He's
love
like,
this
he
little
loves it, and
baby.
I'm like, it's hard. It's hard.
I love changing the diaper and wiping the poop. And
She had a little blowout today. Oh, she projectile vomited, threw up all over me too
yeah.
another time. It's fun.
It's
I
awesome.
don't even mind all that. It's great. Yeah. It's been hard. I would say like
Would you do it again?
Of course. Of course. I guess that's the golden question. It's like, it's hard, but would you do it again? Yeah. We will.
Yeah.
Be good. But yeah.
Anyway, this is a long video, but
Yeah.
anything you want to say to close it off, babe?
No. Just like,
All right, thanks,
cute,
guys.
she's
Oh, I
so
wish I was kind of hoping she'd wake up so we could show her off, but
You're so cute.
you guys get sick of her because we're gonna be showing her off a lot more
Yeah.
coming up. All right, well, thanks guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.